Hey y'all, welcome to another Monday, okay? To another week of reviews. Oh gosh, I was supposed to take my picture off by the time I got around to that. But hey y'all, it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back. Clack, clack. I actually have my glass of wine today. Today has been a very chill day. And I'm here for it. I'm actually about to go get me some good old crawfish right after this video. So that's another reason why I'm in a good mood, and another reason why I already got the glass of wine to prepare myself for this good old meal that I'm about to be eating after this review. I hope all y'all are doing well. I see Necey D, Stephanie Ray, Queen Paradise, TT, hey, Sierra B. What's up? Okay. So today, y'all, let me talk to y'all about something real quick, okay? I gave Love and Marriage DC. You see, okay, I'm guilty my damn self. I gave Love and Marriage DC its own individual damn review last week, and then none of y'all want to show up. Didn't now one of y'all come and give me no views on that video, and that just tells me how y'all felt about this show. Like literally, y'all. That view for Love and Marriage DC sat under 1,000 for a long ass time. Y'all were actually blowing up this review though, girl in the picture. Y'all loved the documentary review, but y'all was not here for Love and Marriage DC. So with that being said, eventually y'all did get around to it, but y'all weren't really pressed to talk about Love and Marriage DC. So with that being said, y'all, I will only talk about like Love and Marriage DC for maybe 5 minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes of this review. And then the rest of the review, we're going to dedicate to Married to Medicine and Real Housewives of Atlanta. However, I just did not feel like Love and Marriage DC needed its own individual review because y'all don't really care for the show. I mean, I don't blame y'all. It's okay. It's not a bad show, but y'all really care for it. And for another thing, it was the season finale. So I feel like I at least have to say something because we didn't went this far reviewing the series. Sierra B said, I still showed up. Girl, thank you. Okay. But you know, everybody else for the most part, y'all ain't really feeling Love and Marriage DC. Yes. Definitely not pressed for the DC review. So y'all, I'm just going to keep this. It's not going to be a review. Okay. So just hold your seat. Keep your seat warm. It's going to be about 10 minutes for Love and Marriage DC. I'm going to tell y'all what I thought about the finale. And then we're going to get into the good old shows. But I just don't feel right, you know, not moving on from the show without at least telling y'all what my thoughts were on the final episode. And, you know, also the reunion's coming up. And then, you know, after that, who knows what else we have to come. So I hope y'all have already done what you're supposed to do. If you're not new here, you already know when you come into the room, hit the like button, okay? If you're coming back for another time, go ahead, hit subscribe. And if you've been here for a real long time and you be like, dang, I didn't know you were going live at 5 instead of 6:30 or 7, or dang, I didn't know, then that's your cue to go ahead and turn on the notification bell that you see at the bottom of the screen. One last announcement. I'm sorry, but we're only like 50 good subscribers away from 12,000. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, one more thing I wanted to ask y'all about. Y'all, I put this U-part wig on too far to the left. So I really got a good old bang today. I got a good old bang. So let me finish this review so I can readjust my wig and kind of give that offside middle. Because right now I'm headed to the teacher parent conference. What has Nevaeh been doing in class? You tell me what Samaj has been doing, okay? I'll handle them. That's what this wig is giving. So once I finish this review, I just gotta shift it back the other direction. Okay, so y'all, the other thing that I wanted to ask y'all about, I hope y'all are following me on Instagram. Reason being is because I post stuff to my story and I love when y'all respond and I get to talk to y'all one-on-one. But I posted the Tammy Roman show. I don't remember the name of it, but y'all know Tammy Roman got that new show coming out where she basically like Joey Greco from Cheaters, and she catching people cheating. And and anyway, y'all, that show comes on tomorrow. And I'm considering reviewing it because it looks like some mess. Not no type of Zeus mess that I really don't fool with, but it looks like some mess. And I think it'll be something fun for us to talk about. So if y'all want to talk about this Tammy Roman show, y'all give it a good view tomorrow. Let's put in our views on the show tomorrow. And then depending on what it's given, I have a feeling it's going to be good. We can come back and we can talk about that on Tuesday because I am able. Okay, more space is freeing up for other TV shows to be reviewed besides Real Housewives of Atlanta, Married at First Sight, and now this show is going away. So let's get to it, y'all. Love and Marriage DC. As I told y'all, I'm only gonna spend a couple minutes talking about it. Only a couple things happen, y'all. Okay, the couples are there getting the IV treatment, and during the IV treatment, this is where Ashley and Quick start doing that thing. It's weird. I get a weird feeling that they're always competing with each other in their relationship over who has BDE, who has the big dick energy between the two of them. So Quick says that he cheated. Ashley didn't know that he cheated because it was over 20 years ago. And Ashley's sitting there like, don't try to play me in front of these people because I wasn't your girlfriend. So if that makes you feel better about being cheated on, then you can go ahead and tell that narrative. And it was awkward. It was really awkward. And he was like, no, I did cheat on you. And, if that makes me the bad guy. And I'm like, weird flex, but okay. If this is the flex that you want to choose, if you want to choose to tell these people that you cheated on your wife because you don't want to make it seem like you're less of a man for being cheated on, that whole thing was weird. Ashley was like, okay, well, if you cheated, I got my lick back. Awkward. Other thing I wanted to talk about is this situation with Monique and Chris. So I'm sure y'all have seen by now, the previews have been showing it since last week. Chris expresses his love for Monique, and he basically says, I've never felt this way about anybody, even my college sweetheart. Doesn't compare. Monique is immediately triggered at the mention of his ex. And she's like, don't try to compliment me by mentioning somebody else. And girl, I feel you on that. I feel you on that, Monique. But one thing I know the people are going to do is complain. And I know the perception that Monique is giving off, and it's annoying. It is. And it's giving nitpicky because every time we see her, she's critiquing her husband on what she wants or how things should be done. Now, y'all, I think Monique has a lot of points in the way that she feels about Chris. I think Monique's intention is 100% valid. I think she wants what she wants out of the relationship now that they're getting closer to this 10-year mark, and I think she deserves to make certain requests in her relationship. Only thing I will say, though, is I don't think that Chris understands the magnitude of where Monique is at. Based on the way that I've seen Monique move this entire season, based on the meltdowns and the tears that I've seen Monique have, I feel like the reason why she's nitpicking so much is because she isn't really saying what's on her mind, which is, I feel like I'm going to have to leave the relationship if you don't change. And maybe she has said this before, but I think it's easier for Monique to say it this way, or don't tell me to shut up. You're telling me to be quiet, but it's the same thing as shut up. It's easier for her to say, oh, I need your help with the kids, instead of saying, oh, you don't do this enough for me. It's easy for her to say, don't even mention your ex while complimenting me, but it's not easy for her to say, hey, I don't even feel like we connect and I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't know. It's just tiring to see. And I just feel like it's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. And that's why it's getting annoying. And people are like, what's the big deal? Because Chris, in a way, I have to say this. Let me hold Chris accountable a little bit. One of the things I do notice this season is that every time Monique makes any type of criticism towards Chris, instead of actually taking what she's saying and soaking and sitting with it, he immediately coddles her. If Monique is emotional and she's crying and she's telling him how she feels, he immediately coddles her. Almost like a shh, go to sleep, shh, be quiet. But I don't think he's really sitting with the request that she's making for him. So it's a continuous cycle of, oh, you don't do this enough or you don't do that, which is quite annoying to see. So that's how I feel about Monique and Chris. Lastly, y'all, I want to talk to y'all about Ashley's book event. Ashley's book event was beautiful. Arena even looked good herself, even though she wanted to pretend like her and Jamie was going to the bathroom to have sex, and we know y'all ain't really having no sex. Y'all are professional skit performers. Y'all have told us this. Y'all are professional skit performers for TikTok. And the intuitive reader even told us that Arena puts on a mask because she wants to make it seem like everything in her life is perfect. We know y'all ain't go off to that bathroom and have no sex. Not you, Arena. Arena is as vanilla as it gets. Vanilla straight out the ground. No artificial flavors, vanilla bean. Arena is vanilla. You're not having sex with this man in the bathroom if y'all barely want to do it at home. And if your husband just told us last episode that y'all sex or y'all's relationship is comparable to like a sibling relationship. So, girl, and just the fact that you had to say, we really are happy, it's not for show. You're projecting your inner thoughts. You are. Because at the time that they filmed this show, you wouldn't have even heard the feedback from the viewers. So at that point, Arena, my question to you is, who is telling you that y'all are putting on happiness just for the show? Were you responding to the intuitive reader, or were you responding to your inner thoughts where you knew that that's what you project as happiness, even though you're not really happy? Yeah. So lastly, y'all, Ashley's book was unveiled. And I have to say, after a long season, I really didn't care for anybody on this show, if I had to be 100% real. I didn't like the way Monique was portrayed on the show, or portrayed herself. The way that she maneuvered through her friendship with Winter kind of made me feel like, I don't know, this is weird. But then I also get the theatrics of having to carry a storyline, because if you remove the whole Winter beef from the whole season, like nothing would happen. So I feel like it's a fine line of Monique playing her part for the show while also kind of making me look at her like she didn't really support Winter. Now, on the other side of things, I can't really be too mad at Monique for that, because those are things that Winter did say the entire season, but she didn't stand 10 toes down and say it with her chest. So didn't really care for Winter in that aspect, but she seemed to be like a fun girl. Arena, y'all already know. What else do I have to say? And then Ashley, I felt like she was coming off as a mean girl, but honestly, y'all, as the season came to a close, I think Ashley might have to be my favorite character on this show. My favorite person on the show. She seems to be the realest. It was cool. Quick proposed to her again with a new ring. And shout out to my girl Bonnie Blue. Bonnie's review earlier was talking about how Quick seems to take the attention off of his wife. And you know, this whole damn season, she's been trying to just rediscover Ashley, period. Not Ashley the mom, not Ashley the wife. And for you to make this situation about her being a wife again, yeah, you shouldn't have done it, Quick. You shouldn't have done it, Quick. I know you just can't help yourself from being center of attention, but you probably shouldn't have done it at that scene. Ashley seemed happy about it, but at the same time, she knew he was going to do it because she knows him. As soon as he got on stage, she started taking off the old ring. Hey, J-Dub. But y'all, I kind of think that's all I have for Love and Marriage DC. Lil Jamie is on his way to court. Are we surprised by that? His girlfriend was not dressed for court at all. Y'all asking the man, did he put on deodorant? Did he iron his clothes? And that's part of the reason why he's in the situation that he's in right now. I have to be so real with y'all. In the very first episode, I told y'all, anytime I see these kids going astray, yes, y'all, I'm from the suburbs. I know that there are plenty of kids in two-parent households that have everything that still choose the wrong path. But y'all, I can tell you right now, you can have all the money in the world and shit. Ooh, sorry, y'all. My laptop stopped connecting to the charger, and y'all know what happens whenever it does that. So y'all bear with me. Okay, so I was saying you can have all the money in the world, but the functionality of your household determines the outcome of the child. Meaning it's a lot of effed up kids that come from families with money, families from the suburbs, families with no money have to deal with the functionality of their household and the stresses that come from that, while also having to deal with environmental pressures. So I think Jamie is a product of his environment. And the fact that y'all are still babying this 25-year-old man tells me everything that I need to know, and why he probably has gone through the path of effing up so many times. So I hope that this is enough for him to learn on his own. But y'all, that's all I have for Love and Marriage Huntsville. If you are on Replay Gang, y'all do me a favor and leave a timestamp at the bottom of this. Y'all like the video, and then I think we can go ahead and get into Married to Medicine. Then after that, we're going to get into Real Housewives of Atlanta. All right, y'all. I always forget to flip the picture while I'm talking to y'all about that. I hope that y'all had a chance to like the video up. Love and Marriage DC, I told y'all it was going to be just about 10 minutes, and it really was nothing. Comment from Stephanie. She said, yup, kids are giving the world everything their parents wish that they had, but without structure and consequences. Exactly. Oh, did I say Huntsville? DC. You see what I mean? Y'all. I keep calling this Love and Marriage Huntsville because subconsciously, that's the show that's on the top of my mind. These shows aren't even comparable at all, but it's the show that's on the top of my mind. Okay. Hey, Nikki. Let's move on, y'all. It's time to get into Married to Medicine. I thought it was a pretty entertaining episode. I wanted to have a conversation with y'all specifically about Contessa. Hey, Sheree. Specifically about Contessa. J-Dub liked the video. MB, I do miss Huntsville. I really do. Oh, I don't know why my phone was listening to me. Y'all know, I swear they be doing something with these iPhones. My phone is basically paid for at this point. Y'all know what I'm down to, like the last payment or whatever. I got the iPhone 11 Pro. Why all of a sudden my iPhone 11 Pro want to start tripping? Because y'all really want me to go get that 13. Why? Okay. This phone works just fine. Anyway, it's time to get into Married to Medicine. Friends, sips wine. Okay. So now, this episode, we see Dr. Heavenly going to Dr. Jackie's office because she ain't had her period in 2 months. And she's like, could I be pregnant? And Dr. Jackie is like, at this age, you're perimenopausal. Like, you old enough to, that girl gone. Your period packed her bag. She is out the door. Okay. And Dr. Heavenly's like, I don't want to be a part of that club. I don't want to be a part of the big girls club. Now, I will say, while Dr. Heavenly was talking about the sex and how all that stuff sucks, I think that is good to see the older women talk about getting to the menopausal age. Honestly, y'all, I don't hear women talk about it at all, to be real. I don't hear women talk about it at all. I really don't know enough about it besides, my question is like, how do you go from having a period every month to boom, now they're trying to sell you the pins in Walmart. So I have to say, I think it's good that she had a conversation about it. Also, y'all, if you're a woman and you have a vagina, there's a book called Taking Charge of Your Fertility. And it is a very interesting book. It's not a book that has to do with, trying to conceive. It's a book that just tells you all about your body and the things that people didn't want to tell you when you was growing up. Go read the book. So anyway, I think it's good that they're having those conversations as grown women on the show. And yes, did nobody think she was 50 and pregnant? Nobody thought she was 50 and pregnant. No, really. That's what it seems like. In my mind, the way that we are marketed to as women, you go from having a period, they're trying to sell you pads, they're trying to sell you tampons and all that other stuff, to boom, then they try to sell you the pins, they trying to get you to eat the yogurt with the probiotics in it because I guess apparently you have trouble going to the bathroom. It's just like, what? Okay. Anyway, y'all, let's move on from that because I can go into a whole rant about the way that we're marketed to in America and how women don't know enough about their bodies and stuff like that. But we go off that scene, y'all, and we see Contessa and Toya. Toya comes over to Contessa's house. Well, anyway, Contessa has Toya come over to the house with the kids. And Toya brings her two little boys over. And it's too funny because Contessa's daughter is like, "Ooh, look, it's the evil one and the nice one because that one's the devil." And she was like, did she just call my son the devil? And I thought it was funny. Now, what they do is they sit there and they have a conversation and they do that thing where they're like, "Oh my gosh, how's your relationship with Anila?" And she's like, "I don't know. It's a work in progress. But how's your relationship with Heavenly?" "We haven't talked in months." So we find out that, let me not even say this. Y'all, how many times have they said this to us? We don't just find out that Heavenly and Contessa hasn't talked in months. They've been talking about it since last episode. "Oh, Heavenly and Contessa not talking. Heavenly and Contessa ain't talking. I don't know why Contessa not talking to me." Insert YouTube clip. So they talk about that. And anyway, yes, right. I ain't even gonna dig into that. Okay. Anyway, yes, that's basically all Contessa and Toya talks about is their fractured friendships with Anila and with Toya. So now we fast forward to Anila. Y'all see this top picture of Anila right here. And Anila is getting the kids ready for school. And she's talking about her blogging and how now she's at 80,000, which is great, girl. Shout out to you. Shout out to you getting all that furniture for free. Like, honestly, goals. If I had the bandwidth and I knew what to do to market myself to be an actual influencer, girl, the things I would do. So shout out to you, Anila. But on the other hand, your nanny is the one who I saw get the kids out of bed, had them brush their teeth. And then from there, the nanny ran downstairs and said, "What do y'all want to eat for breakfast?" The boy said pancakes. She's making pancakes and bacon and everything else. And all the while, Anita's like, "Oh, this is just so stressful. I have to get the kids up, get the kids dressed, make their lunch, take them to school, pick them up." And I'm sitting there the whole time like, "Girl, Miss Ma'am, no. You're not even cooking the food though, okay?" And that's not to say that motherhood is easy. Wouldn't know nothing about it. I don't have kids. I have to tell y'all that. I have to preface with that every time I get ready to tell somebody about their mothering. I don't have kids. But one thing I can say is I've seen lots of women raise kids without a nanny. And the level of complaining in which you're doing, Anila, is a bit much, especially whenever you have someone waking your kids up, making the food, and then after, all you have to do is take the food, put it in the container, close the lid, drive the kids to school. And hey, if you got a Tesla, put that hoe in autopilot. Have the Tesla drive you and the kids to school. But girl, I'm like, you're doing a bit much. So let's just go ahead and get this story done with Anila and the nanny. So eventually, y'all, Miss Gomez, who's the nanny, she sits them down for a nice dinner. She doesn't eat herself. She just sits them down for a dinner. And Anila's like, "You must want to raise. What is it? You want to raise?" And she's like, "No, I have to go back to Houston." She's like, "I have a house in Houston. I have family. I have grandkids in Houston. I'm ready to go home." And Anila says, "What? You can't leave. I don't know what I'm going to do. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to find someone to replace you who knows my kids the way that you know them?" And Anila, what I want you to do is I want you to take a mirror, or I want you to take the front-facing camera of your phone, and I want you to look at yourself. And I want you to decide that the person you're looking at is the person who should know your kids well enough to replace Miss Gomez. Okay? I think you can replace Miss Gomez until you find someone to come and do the secondary things that you don't have time for. And I was triggered by this because of two reasons. Okay. And I might be tripping. Y'all tell me if I'm tripping. I was triggered by this because of two reasons. For one, um, it reminded me of whenever you work for a company for so long and they basically work you to hell. And the minute that you do something and they know that you're going to leave because they work you to hell, they say, what do you want? Do you want a raise? That's what Anila did. That's what these corporations do. And then once it was like, why is this nerve-wracking dinner what's taking you to say, do you want a raise? So that was number one, that was triggering. Number two, or let me say three things, but number one and two kind of go together. 1.5 is when this woman tells you that she has her own grandchildren to take care of, you then try to make her feel guilty by saying that, what are your kids supposed to do when she's telling you she has grandchildren in Houston? Girl, what? So number two was the fact that you try to guilt trip her into prioritizing your kids over her actual grandkids and her family back home. Lastly, the last thing that triggered me, and I might be reaching, but my mind typically goes here, is the Black help or the ethnic help. I get it, y'all. Anila and her husband are people of color, right? I get it. Ms. Gomez is a person of color too. None of these people are Black. But personally, for me, I always have felt a way because typically we never see Black women in a position to have someone take the relief of childcare away from them 24 hours a day. And that's because Black people who are looked at as the lower class citizens because of the history of things have always come in to be the help. And then if you remove that layer of, okay, Black people come in as a help, let's not act brand new. A lot of the Latinas and the people who come over here from Mexico, next, they're put into positions of labor. So that's another reason why that was triggering for me. And that's part of the reason why a lot of the Black women that you know who own childcare centers today, that comes from the history of Black women often being the help. Again, neither one of these women are Black, y'all. But the way that Anila reacted to Miss Gomez saying that she was leaving and the amount of dependency that you had on this woman, who you could tell English is probably her second language, the amount of dependency that you had on this woman to raise your children and keep your household operating is just a privilege that I do not understand. I don't understand that privilege. So I think whenever she told you that she was leaving, I think that you should have not tried to guilt trip her about leaving and going to go raise her own grandchildren. I think you should have immediately thanked her for her services and you should have sent her on her way. But yeah, I just didn't like I didn't like that. Now, y'all, outside of that, Quad and her family. Mason is so cute, y'all. I cannot deal. This boy is so big and chunky. I didn't, my mind does not compute that he's only 6, because whenever they were sitting there asking Mason to spell like, I was like, Like, what? This boy should be old enough to know how to spell that, but he's only 6. So he has the really small words that he's learning right now. He's so cute. And then the little edit they did for Quad and her family show, I thought that was cute too. And I'm like, okay, Quad, that was good for you to mention in the confessional, because they might do a little Quad Family Matters spinoff. If they gave Portia one, they ought to be able to give you one. So next, y'all, we find out that Heavenly has a grand opening for her beauty supply store, which we'll get into a little bit later on. The next thing we see from that is Dr. Simone and her son and her husband Cecil meet up with his girlfriend Andrea. I said that kind of weird, so let me say that one more time. Dr. Simone, Cecil, and their son meet up with their son's girlfriend Andrea, because somebody definitely could be like, huh? Anyway, they meet up with the kid and his girlfriend. They've been together for 1.5 years, and they absolutely love her. I love the fact that they do love her and that they think that she's a good fit for the family. But while they're sitting down having this conversation about their relationship, they bring up the fact that they are going to work on a relationship help book. And they said it's not going to be cookie cutter, like, oh, you know, our relationship's so perfect, because we've seen them go through all the stages in their relationship. And you know what? I honestly do think that this will be a good move for them to do. I think it would be amazing for y'all to write a relationship book because y'all have been together for a long ass time and the people have seen y'all go through it on the show. As long as everything in the book is authentic, which I don't see why it wouldn't be because everything played out on TV, by all means, do it. Send Contessa and Scott a copy of the book when you finish. Outside of that, y'all, let's move on to the next scene. We see Toya, Contessa, and Dr. Simone, and they're on their way to Heavenly's beauty supply store grand opening. This is where, everything goes down, which is not a whole lot. But this is the most, this is the bulk of the episode. This is the part that they work their way up to. So the ladies walk in, and just the ladies who were in the fashion show. So that's Dr. Jackie, that is Nikki Naturals, that's Miss Quad. I'm missing somebody else. I don't know. Maybe I'm not. I don't think I'm missing anybody. But it's easier for me to tell y'all who's not in the fashion show. Toya is not in the fashion show. Dr. Simone is not in the fashion show. Contessa is not in the fashion show. So all of the other ladies are there. And Heavenly is like, come on, y'all. I got to show y'all how y'all need to walk down the runway and all this other stuff. And I can show y'all how to drop it. And she was dropping it to the floor and she was bouncing there. I'm like, okay, Dr. Heavenly be doing this at home in the mirror. I ain't gonna play like I don't be doing it too in the mirror. Bounce, look back at it. Yes. Okay. Anila was in the fashion show too. Thanks, Nicole. And now at this point in time, the ladies are getting their hair done before the show. Quad's hair looked a fool. And I'm not mad at Quad for saying that she was not going to wear the hairstyle. Yes, y'all, I get it. I used to watch, it was some reality TV show that used to come on Style Network. And it was like all about black hair. And they would do competitions. And I can't remember the name of the show, but I love that show. So I understand that Quad's hairstyle was supposed to be avant-garde. It was supposed to be very fashion forward for black hair. But Quad was like, you're not going to make a fool out of me because everybody else had their regular wigs, okay? Everybody had on their 27 doobie pieces. Everybody had on their sensational wigs, butter lace number 5s. Everybody had those types of wigs on. So she's like, don't do it to me. And she did look like the Predator. Now, we get a visit from somebody who's supposed to be important. Somebody who looked like he stepped out of a 1985 time machine. And he also kind of looked like 2 Chainz in the year 2082. He looked like 2 Chainz a little bit in the face. Anyway, his name is Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright shows up and they're like, Heavenly, you have a really important person in the room. And this guy, Mr. Wright, he owns 25 funeral homes in Miami, Florida. And Dr. Heavenly has the opportunity to get a contract with Mr. Wright to supply wigs for those who are no longer here, those who have transitioned. And it sounds like money to me. I think that is a really good move. And they want to do the business with Dr. Heavenly, but he's here for the fashion show. Now, y'all, what? Oh, gosh. Ramel, T-Buzz. Okay. Thank you, Cameron. Vanetta, yes. Vanetta, he did. I don't know what it is, but it's something about people who I was trying to figure out how I was gonna say this, y'all. Y'all let me know if I'm tripping. But this ain't the first time. It's something about people who say that they work in funeral homes that be looking like they work in funeral homes. Y'all tell me right now. It's something about them. I swear. It's this one funeral home in Dallas. It's called Golden Gate. One of the biggest funeral homes in Dallas. And they even were on TV for a while. And when I be driving down the highway and I see their billboards, it's something about it that just look like they work at a funeral home. And now that I think about it, I think it has to do with the wigs. I think that whatever contract these funeral home owners are getting to use the wigs on the dead, the people who work at the funeral homes have to be wearing the same wigs. It's something like that, okay? I don't get it, but that's what Mr. Right looked like. Anyway, y'all, let me know if I'm tripping. But I ain't never seen nobody who worked for a funeral home who looks like they have like a lot of life. I just haven't. I haven't. Now, anyway, Alf. He said, "Don't do Golden Gates because they do look like Morticians." They do. They do. Okay, Golden Gates do look like Morticians. They do. It's something about it where like you look like that's your occupation. You do. You do look like that's your occupation. Now, anyway, um, I can't. I'm just thinking about it more and more. I can't. And then everybody got that one funeral home in a little small town they in. I'm thinking about the funeral home in the town where my family is from. Keith Bigelow Funeral Home. I'm like, I cannot. I cannot. It's something about it. It's something about it. Yes, it's something. They look sometimes they be looking like they be wearing the wigs. And maybe it ain't positioned right. I don't know. So anyway, let's get on to this beauty supply grand opening. So the fashion show gets ready to start. And Dr. Heavenly is telling everybody, get on out the way, y'all. The fashion show about to start. Get out the way. At first, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I didn't know how they was gonna do a fashion show in the middle of the beauty supply store. I didn't think it was gonna give, but Jen, Gen, the planner for the event, I think she did a good job with the space that she had. It made sense to do it in the beauty supply store, but I just didn't think it was gonna be. It wasn't gonna give, but she played with the lighting. And she did a great job playing with that lighting. They did a great job running that LED strip all the way down the middle of the floor. They did a great job with the backlighting on the main stage. I think the vision came to life, and I think it looked pretty good. So as Dr. Heavenly is calling the ladies to the back to get ready to walk the fashion show, we get a situation of what Susie says about Sally. It says more about Susie than it does about Sally. Now, I say this all the time. And last episode, I was telling y'all, like, I understand why Contessa is mad. But let me tell y'all why I know that Contessa is full of shit at this point. Because in every scene, Contessa, that you've been telling people that you're mad at Dr. Heavenly, it's almost as if you want people to deflect or deviate from the situation that was at hand last season, which was you and your husband. You want people to deviate from that situation. And now collectively, you want everyone to punish Heavenly for what she's been saying on YouTube about your husband. Because let's be real, you don't give a damn what she said about everybody else in their situations. You want the group to punish Heavenly. And this is when I knew you were full of it. Whenever you spent the whole season, well, the whole first 2 episodes saying that you didn't really fuck with Heavenly. And then whenever you found out that you weren't in the fashion show, you felt away? Where they do that at? If I don't F with you, I don't F with you long. I don't F with you strong. I feed you off a long, long, long spoon. Why did you think that you should have been notified about being in the fashion show if you haven't talked to her? And that's whenever you say something to Dr. Heavenly, you say, oh, so you only have your friends in the show? And Dr. Heavenly said, well, I only have the ladies in the show who I speak to on the regular because they asked. And Dr. Heavenly, you ain't even got to say because they asked. You could have just said, I only have people who I speak to on the regular in the show. But the just based off the fact that Dr. Heavenly said because they asked, let me know that Dr. Heavenly is trying to come in peace. Contessa's like, that would have been an olive branch, don't you? She's talking to Toya. That would have been an olive branch for her to extend if she wanted me to be in the fashion show. No, it wouldn't have been an olive branch. Because if you stop talking to me or if you, relieve the pressure a little bit on our friendship, I'm going to receive that. And you will be relieved of your duties. Because you know what? I will not give you the opportunity to shit on me. Because that's probably what would have happened if Dr. Heavenly asked Contessa to be in the fashion show. If Dr. Heavenly asked Contessa to be in the fashion show, Contessa would have played her to the left and she would have told her, oh, you know what? I don't really fool with you because of this. Or she would have said, no, I don't care. The other thing that I wanted to talk to y'all about is in the very beginning, whenever Dr. Heavenly called Contessa on the phone to invite her to the fashion show, Dr. Contessa says, Heavenly, I support everything you do. That's a damn lie. That's a damn lie. So y'all, two things for certain. Number one, Contessa, you're really not mad for the reason that you say you're mad. Because if you were, you would want nothing to do with this lady. Second things for certain, you're really not mad. Okay? You're full of it. And you're trying to get the group to punish Dr. Heavenly. And I don't like that. If you feel some type of way, say it. Don't come as a collective. So you trying to get the other women to say that y'all need to have an intervention. Stop trying to get other people involved in your bull. At some point at the end of the day, and I hate to say this because sometimes I'm guilty of this shit too. Sometimes when people say things about you, a percentage of it can be true. Other times people be hating and they full of shit. But let's be real. We watched you and Scott for a whole season. We watched Scott lie about a life coach for a whole season, only for y'all to fix y'all's relationship off camera, which congratulations, and then come back and then magically tell us that everything was fixed and you want us to believe it. I think you're triggered because a portion of what Dr. Heavenly is saying is true. So I thought that I was going to be here for the intervention, but I can already tell y'all right now, I'm not here for the intervention with Dr. Heavenly. Don't come to me on no group project shit. Okay. You come to me one-on-one and you present to the class about how you feel. And if anybody else want to chime in, they should have done that beforehand. And thank y'all for the compliments on my glasses. My glasses are from Firmoo, Firmoo. But anyway, that's all I have for Married to Medicine. So I guess we're going to see what happens in the upcoming episodes. But it looks like the girls are about to be arguing because we see Contessa in the purple wig and she's yelling and crying. And she's really crying because she's crying those tears for Scott. But she wants to play like those are tears for Heavenly. Okay? Y'all give me a sec. Give me a sec. Y'all do me a favor and like the video so we can move on to the next show, which is Real Housewives of Atlanta. All right, y'all. It's time to get into Real Housewives of Atlanta. Y'all already know why I'm in a very excited mood. I'm in a very excited mood because right after this, your girl's about to go eat some good old crawfish. Your girl's about to go have drinks with friends, and we're going to kiki, and we're going to have some crawfish. So I'm feeling good, okay? So let's talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Another thing, now that I have y'all on the line, y'all let me, oh, okay, this comment right here. See, but I was like, girl, what you about to say about Scorpios? I just saw Heavenly being a Scorpio, and I was like, what you about to say? Because y'all who watch me on the regular, y'all know I'm a Scorpio through and through. She said, I'm super late, but Dr. Heavenly, being a Scorpio makes sense for her to work with funeral homes. Scorpio rules death and rebirth. Facts, 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 facts. That makes perfect sense because a lot of y'all who know that I love the true crime stuff, remember I told y'all that I was actually initially going to school to be a forensic psychologist because I love true crime stuff. I can watch the stuff before I go to bed. Real life stuff intrigues me so much. So much. But okay, girl. Hey, Bondi. Bondi said, I wish I was coming. Girl, next weekend. Next weekend. Okay. So, Real Housewives of Atlanta, this was another episode, y'all, of where we were here, we were waiting for it. We were waiting for the show to start. We were waiting for the show to start, waiting for the show to start. And then boom, it started in the last 10 minutes. And I know I can't be the only one. I ain't even got to ask y'all if I'm the only one. But, you know, was it just me? Or did y'all feel like the show didn't really get started until the very end? So basically, y'all, at the beginning of the episode, we see Candy and Kenya with their daughters, Brooklyn and Blaze, and they're playing at like some bounce house thing. And I just had hearts in my eyes, y'all. I thought it was the cutest thing to see the girls playing together. I'm like, I cannot. I have to tell y'all this, okay? Let me admit this to y'all because y'all know we friends. I be having to say this. It's something about that algorithm, and it's something about social media that I cannot stand. I'm not trying to be on no conspiracy shit, but they really be pushing stuff into our minds. And I know that everybody knows it at this point, but I'm starting to see it. I swear. Right after I got married, my timeline went from wedding dresses and rings. Well, wait, hold on. My timeline went from nails and hot girl shit to rings and wedding dresses to now my timeline is nothing but bellies and babies. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need the timeline to stop because before I was like, I ain't really tripping on no kids or not. And now every time I see a kid, I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. And that's how I felt when I saw Candy and Kenya with Brooklyn and Blaze and they were playing. Because Candy, what she's saying, it really is a blessing to see the two girls together because Kenya wanted to be loved. Kenya wanted to have a kid. She went through her trials and tribulations to have her baby at 40. Candy went through her trials and tribulations and she had her baby via IVF. And well, she tried IVF and then ended up having her baby via surrogacy. I don't know if those are two different things, but either way, she had to do some things and they were both blessed to have daughters. Now, anyway, Kenya talks to Candy about her business. She's been awarded with, this was funny, y'all. Kenya is telling Candy that she's having inventory issues with her business. Now, there's been inventory issues everywhere since the pandemic. So I definitely believe her. And she says to Candy, but the good thing is I've been rewarded 5,000 more stores to allocate my product to. And Candy, the businesswoman, says, well, how's that a good thing if you're not able to supply them? And Kenya says, oh, well, girl, you're actually the first person who asked me that because you're smart. Nobody ever asked me that. And it was very much giving me like, girl, I'm used to saying bad news and then bullshitting to make it sound good. So the fact that you just said that tells me that you really know your business. Ha ha. Try to pull a fast one on you. That's what I felt like she was doing. But it really wasn't that deep. Anyway, Kenya says that she ended up hiring a COO because it is just so insane to me to think that Kenya has been running this business by herself for as long as she's been running it. That is crazy. For Kenya to be the face and to communicate with these corporations, because first she was in Sally Beauty, now you're in CVS, and I think you might be in Walmart. So for you to be doing all of that, my goodness. Now, anyway, of course, they start talking about the drama at hand. Ooh, girl, did you hear? Marlo done kicked out her nephews. And both of them are basically like, she ain't shit for that. They don't say that, but they say that. They say, you're further traumatizing the kids. And, I can't believe that she would do that. Candy then brings up her experience with having to raise her cousin, Melvin. And I'm glad she brought that up because I think I mentioned that in my last review too. Marlo never lied this episode when she said that she was fucked up. Marlo said at the end of the episode, Kenya, I'm fucked up just like you. And you are. But what I need you to do as a grown-ass woman is if you know that you are fucked up, you need to get some help. You are responsible for the way that you treat others at the end of the day at your big ass age. And for you to think that that is okay because that's the trauma and neglect that you experienced from your mom. What? You're doing this foundation for the girls and you think that you're instilling in them the things that you should, but you're not because you only care about brand new designer items. What? Do the work. Do the work before you come out here and try to do the fake work. But I already gave y'all my thoughts on her last episode. So next, y'all, the camping trip. Marlo is planning the trip, and we find out that Kenya's not going. But obviously, you see this picture right here. And who is it? It's Kenya on the trip. She's coming because Kenya likes to make a scene. This is the old Kenya. I'm not mad at it, but this is the old Kenya, okay? I'm not mad at it. One thing I definitely want to break down at the end of this episode is the argument that they had. So anyway, let's just get to that. Marlo and Crystal. Crystal comes over to the house. Crystal is her baby sister who has the boys. Now, y'all, last episode, Marlo said that her sister, who is a nurse, who has 4 toddlers of her own, are responsible for the boys now for 30 days. Did y'all look at her sister's uniform? It said dentistry, Marlo. Marlo is trying to make us feel better about you putting an additional 2 kids, so now 6 kids on your sister by saying she's a nurse so people could think that she's financially able to take care of them. But when I saw her shirt, it said dentistry. I didn't think nurses worked at dentistries. I thought dental assistants work at dentistries. And dental assistants don't make no damn money, Marlo. You trifling as hell. Quit playing. Quit playing. Regardless of the amount of money that you thought a nurse could make to then care for 6 boys, you still out of your damn mind, Marlo. But the uniform says otherwise. She's not a nurse. Okay, she's probably a dental assistant. What else Marlo tries to do is she tries to make us feel better about her pushing off the boys on her sister by telling us about what she did for her sister, by pulling her sister out of foster care and raising her from the time when she was 14 or 15. She had a flip phone. Things wasn't easy, but we got through it. So the boys should be just fine with you. And Marlo, you might think that this is a better look because you're saying not only did I take care of the boys, but I'm taking care of my sister. This ain't a good look. It's making you look even worse. It's making you look like you're forcing your sister to watch these boys because you know that she can't say no, because you're going to make her feel like she owes you for allowing you to stay with her when she was younger until, shout out to Nola Reeves, you put her out too. Until you put her out to go live back with your mama who was probably on drugs because you and your sister was arguing. Then in her confessional, Marlo wants to keep saying, I didn't get to where I was by doing nothing. The boys have to do more. Marlo, let's be real. You did what a lot of women have to do when they come from nothing. You use men to get to where you need to get. Let's not act like you was standing at the bus stop at 6:50 a.m. every morning with your yellow pencils and your sharpener in your backpack waiting for school. Let's not play. Let's not play. So the things that you were saying are null and void. I don't give a fuck, okay? You did what you had to do to survive. And a lot of your success comes from men. The reason why we know you from Real Housewives of Atlanta is because your association with men. And that's how you were able to become the socialite that you are today. So for you to think that you could be the voice of reason for these kids is ridiculous. But shout out to your sister Crystal for saying some of the things that you say to them, they shouldn't have to hear. But hold on. Let me not give too much of a shout out. Let me give like a quarter of a shout out. Because some of those things shouldn't be said. It shouldn't be, oh, you know, they shouldn't have to hear it. It shouldn't be like, oh, say it in private. It should be, keep the boys if you're going to raise them, or stop adding further trauma to their lives, Marlo. But Marlo, to me, I'm not surprised that she is the way that she is. And yeah, y'all are right. She is in a 2-bedroom apartment. She's in a 2-bedroom apartment. 6 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. No mention of another parent in the house. Just Crystal. Marlo, I'm not surprised though, because I've seen this plenty of times. Okay. Plenty of times. I feel like every black person from the country knows somebody who didn't have some damn foster kids because people be looking for a chick. Every black person knows somebody. And I, growing up, would come into contact with those kids a lot because a lot of my family members would have them. And a lot of the things that Marlo does, they have in their personality traits. And that would be typical or equal to what you see with like a child who does not feel secure in their environment. Sometimes you see it with like military kids too. Kids who have to move from one environment to another, they often end up like a chameleon. They're liars sometimes. They're not all liars, but sometimes they will lie. A good majority of them will lie because they try to do what they need to do to fit in and also to feel protected at the end of the day. Because on another thing, I mentioned military kids, but usually whenever those kids travel, they travel with their parents. To be a foster kid, that's on a whole nother level because you don't even have the security of parents to protect you at all times. So it's very much given, I'm trying to get in where I fit in. I'm a chameleon and she's done what she's needed to do to survive. Next thing, whenever you are dealing with somebody who's done what they needed to do to survive, a lot of the times they don't have the social cues or they don't have the emotional intelligence to say, maybe I shouldn't do that. That's mean. That's why Marlo doesn't know how to be a friend. When Kenya said, Marlo, you don't know how to be a friend, she never lied. And I'm not going to, be the pot calling the kettle black because Kenya had some of those issues too. And it came from her insecurities and her not feeling protected because her mom didn't want her. She didn't. I think Kenya had those same insecurities. And that's why a lot of times Kenya came off as purely mean and she didn't see the big deal behind it. And that's what her and Marlo have in common. They have that in common. But okay, we'll talk about that a little bit more at the end. Next, y'all, we move on from her talking to her sister Crystal to now all the women are headed to the cabin. And Marlo is in one car with Sheree, and she's like, how did me and Kenya get to the place that we are? I don't understand. Why can't two black sisters just get along? Get the fuck away from me with that. Get away from me with that. Okay? Somebody grab the kente hat and put it on my head right now. Get away from me with that bullshit. I hate when people do this. Don't wait until you didn't talk dog shit about me and I react to then be like, but we're both black women. Or as a black woman to another black woman. It's not about that. It's not about that. The audience in which you tried to shit on me was a black audience. Okay? This is not something that has to be hidden because what you decided to do was public. So my reactions are going to be public. So Marlo, I think you were asking Sheree, why can't two black sisters just get along? Because you wanted Sheree to co-sign or facilitate your delusion. It wasn't until that point that I didn't see Sheree co-sign her. Sheree nodded her head and you could tell Sheree was kind of like, girl, what? But it's too late, Sheree, because you sat there and you co-signed the episode where they had the Jamaican dinner and when Marlo called her all types of hoes and said Candy was effed out, you sat there and you agreed with that. So Sheree, girl, you should have just kept the bus on moving, should have kept the foot on the pedal, on the gas, and agreed with Marlo. Now, she tries to play them crazy. Next, y'all, they have the cabin assignments, which was cute. It was so funny because Drew did not get the delusional candle. And when I say delusional candle, the game was candles with different descriptions of the women. You'd have to guess who it was. And whoever it was, yes, Ayana Sheree is in too deep. Whoever it was, if you got it right, she is, i.e. Kim. Okay? I.e. Kim. My last straw, I have to tell y'all, my last straw with Sheree was the last reunion with Kim. When Kim sat up there in front of Andy and said, I'm the only white bitch who's dumb enough to come on this show. And Sheree still caped for her. Sheree still caped for her. Huh? Kim just said she was the only white woman dumb enough to come on the show, but didn't finish the rest of what she was saying. Dumb enough to come on the show with black women who hold you accountable to your bullshit. And then when you cry, they simply drink your tears. And you're the only white woman that was dumb enough to do it because you can't carry your way throughout the show. So y'all, I have to be real with y'all. That was the last time. Ever since that moment, I haven't seen it for Sheree. I haven't. That was it. Okay. Anyway, the candle situation was cute. I got to get to this dinner. So on the way to the dinner, y'all, Marlo is prepping the ladies. So everyone is there except for, at this point, Kenya is not there because she said she wasn't coming. Sonia is not there because Sonia is working on a deal with iFit. Now, on the bus, Marlo is trying to get through this woe is me story. Ladies, I really needed this trip. I really want this to be a good girls trip because I've been through so much with the boys. People don't know what I've been through. They don't know what I've been through. So, they're at the kids. I'm at my sister's apartment with the kids, and they're in a 2-bedroom apartment. And she said, well, actually, my sister's about to move to a 3-bedroom apartment. Marlo, you're trifling as hell. You're trifling as hell. Let me drink to that, because how many times? Y'all take a sip every time I say, Marlo, you trifling as hell. You trifling as hell, Marlo. Drink responsibly. Anyway, she's trying to prep the ladies to feel bad for her. Now, finally, the ladies get to dinner. And like I told y'all, Kenya is not there yet. Sonia is not there yet. And Candy's texting Kenya, and she's getting text messages. And Kenya's like, did anyone ask about me yet? And Candy's like, no, nobody asked about you. And that's when I rolled my eyes and I was like, this is the Kenya that I didn't really like. But it wasn't that deep, y'all. I'm still Team Twirl for now. But I'm like, girl, you love you some attention. Kenya just, girl, it's fine. She is the moment, right? So Marlo ends up, so we finally get a surprise. Hold on. Hey, you getting too loud. So we finally get a surprise from Kenya, y'all. Kenya finally shows up. Candy escorts her to the group. And Marlo, this is the classiest thing Marlo has done all season. I'm not saying that Marlo was in the right, but this is the classiest thing Marlo has done all season. Marlo remains composed because we know Kenya's cards, okay? Especially myself, because I definitely was anti-Kenya. And I definitely used to be anti-Kenya. So at this point, I know Kenya's cards. You know that this situation has to do with Marlo, so you're going to show up and you're going to ruin the event. Kenya more hair care. You're going to ruin the event. You want to get a reaction out of her, and you want all of the attention to be on you. So Kenya shows up, and all the ladies are like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy you came. Yay, yay. And Marlo says, thank you for coming. You look beautiful, Kenya. And Marlo's like, I already know how she is. I'm not going to give her the best of me. Classiest thing you did all season, Marlo. I wish you kept that same energy and you knew how to behave when it came to these types of things. So Kenya, she ends up saying, I bought a house. I have a house. So that's where my stuff is. And they're like, oh, you're not going to stay with us? And she's like, well, it depends on if Brooklyn is coming. And they're like, what do you mean if Brooklyn is coming? Kenya, what do you mean if Brooklyn is coming? Brooklyn ain't got no car. Brooklyn ain't got no driver's license. Where is your baby going to be at if she's not with you and she's not with Mark? Do you have a sitter for her? What are you talking about? So it very much is giving that Kenya is trying to be on bullshit. But Marlo is playing chess, not checkers. So Candy ends up saying to Kenya, why'd you get a house? And she says, well, it was so much of an issue on the last trip. Inserts the flashback of the bachelorette trip when Bolo was at the house and Kenya's damn kid was upstairs and they had a stripper who could eat his own peen downstairs. Now, y'all, to be all the way real, I don't think that Kenya planned on getting her own house because of the fit that Candy threw. I think Kenya ended up getting her own house because everybody lit your ass up for having that baby in that Girls Gone Wild situation. For one, you had the stripper there who was fucking with Portia and them all night. You could hear audible sounds. For two, you had all of the women kissing and doing whatever else they wanted to do. And that's not an environment for a child. So if you want to say that the reason why you got another house is because Candy was acting away, girl, you could say that. But you got a house just in case you need to dip out, depending on whatever it is they're gonna be on. Okay, because you don't want us lighting you up again for having Miss Brooklyn there in that brothel. Now, anyway, finally, y'all, Sonya arrives, and that takes the edge off a little bit. And whenever Sonya comes, she says, I'm inviting all of the ladies to Jamaica because I have a brand offering to take all the ladies and their plus ones to Jamaica. Please stop. Please stop. Thank you. Anyway, everybody's all excited. So, Sonya, I'm happy. I think that's going to be a fun trip. And I think that's a great deal for you. So Marlo then goes back to the subject. She says, so Kenya, when are you going to let me know if you're going to stay at the house? And Kenya says, I guess whenever I decide. And this is, again, I have to say, is the classiest thing that Marlo has done all season. You don't come on my trip, participate in things that allegedly I have spent my money on. I don't know if the show pays for it. I don't think they do pay for it. But anyway, they probably pay for some of it. But I heard a long time ago when Candy said they would do events and you would see them big ass empty centers and stuff like that. It was because people had to use their own money. But anyway, if I was Marla, ain't no way you're going to come on my trip, surprise everybody, try to take all the attention off of me, make you the center of attention, get a separate house, and then come participate in the events that I allegedly paid for. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. Because you wouldn't bring bad energy into my event. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't think that Marlo is full of shit. Marlo is full of shit, y'all. That does not mean that. It just means for the silo situation of, if it is a trip that I planned, you're not going to participate in my shit unless you play the way that I want you to play. And I think that this was the way. I see a lot of y'all saying that I wouldn't trust a child around, trust Marlo around a child. And you know what? I guess I could understand her not wanting Brooklyn around her because she said that Kenya was fake pregnant, but I don't think it has anything to do with her not specifically. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think Kenya is just playing chess. That's all I think it is. So anyway, Abu says this is production's trip. They pay for it. She can't dictate what cast members participate in what. And okay, Abu, I feel like that's what Kenya was trying to say whenever Kenya said, oh, don't worry, I'll still get to experience all of the ladies. Nobody's going to tell Kenya to go home, okay? But if I'm pretending that this is my trip and I actually planned everything, then you have to play by my rules. So anyway, Marlo says Brooklyn is welcome, but if you don't stay at the house, you're disinvited. So this is whenever they actually start to get into a little bit of a heated conversation. They go back and forth and they're like, Marlo, you need to be quiet. You need to let Kenya speak. So Kenya finally gets the floor after Marlo obnoxiously interrupts her so many times. And Kenya says, it won't be long because I don't have much to say. She simply tells her, Marlo, you're not a friend. You don't know how to be a friend. You talk a lot of mess. And then whenever we come to see you, it's a different story. And she's like, I don't trust it. And you really don't know how to love. And because of the things that you said about me in the past, I don't want to be your friend. Like, that's it. I'm good on you. And Marlo's like, oh, you're mad that Marlo's like, oh, you're mad that I said that you weren't really pregnant? Leave that in the past. I really thought that you were lying about being sick. And it's like, see, this is the thing. Marlo has short-term memory. Marlo sees nothing wrong with the things that she does. And I'm telling y'all, Marlo is a product of her environment. She's very much missing the emotional intelligence, and everything in her mindset is me first. How can I succeed? How can I get ahead? I don't give a fuck if I hurt nobody's feelings because nobody gave a fuck about me. And that's exactly how she operates. So that's why she doesn't see that it's a big deal at all. Thank y'all for the comments. Cooley says, it's been revealed that Bravo plans the trips and the girls are assigned as the host. Kenya even said that on one of Candy Speak On It. Kenya was not about to let Marlo stop her bag, period. Okay. So anyway, I'm here for what Kenya said to Marlo. Kenya was 100% genuine when she said, I don't fuck with you. And I don't blame Kenya for it at all. However, like I told y'all, Marlo thought she was playing chess. Marlo then decides to respond, a little classy, tries to act like she's responding classy. All right, so Queen, that's when you know somebody gonna be on bullshit. Low key, if I'm mad at you and you call me queen or you call me sis, those are fighting words. So she says, Queen, I just want us to get along. We have Black women who love us, yada, 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 full of shit. I'm fucked up just like you. Girl, I feel like that was Marlo's way of trying to read. Marlo's way of trying to say exactly what I told y'all earlier, which is that Marlo and Kenya both come from fucked up situations. However, Marlo, that does not excuse the stuff that you do. It doesn't excuse the stuff that you do. Rant for Ricardo, I don't trust nobody. You address me. I don't trust nobody who addresses me as queen. I get what you're saying. Yeah, no. Queen, nah. Sis, no. Now, Marlo, I have to give you credit where it's due. I have to tell you that I think you did a good job by pretending to be classy. Pretending. But at this point in time, everyone sees you for your works. And you're going to have to eat the shit that you spew out. The stuff that you say behind the scenes is cute and all. You think it's cute for the audience. You think that we're really losing our shit over the shit that you talk in your confessionals. Girl, you're going to have to stand on it. You're going to have to stand on it when it comes to these reunions. And I feel like you're not going to be able to truly explain why without doing the inner work. And the way that Kenya read you down, even though you tried to remain classy, Marlo, I'm telling y'all, one thing you did was pretend. Kenya truly knows class, which is why Kenya said the stuff that you're showing me is toxic love. It's not real love. Kenya has done the work. And it really made me love Kenya even more because Marlo thought this was an argument that she was going to win. She thought that this was something that she could be passive aggressive over. She thought that she could queen her to death or cis or Black women her to death until they had nothing else to speak about. But Kenya came back and Kenya knew exactly what you were doing. And I just think it's so funny because Marlo, you don't understand that the women see you for all your works. It's like a book. You don't have that many plays. All the plays that you have, Marlo, is in a children's book with the big text. And everybody knows that. So, yup. This the comment right here, Abu. Abu says, while they both have issues with their moms, Kenya was raised by her family. Marlo was left to the system. That's why Kenya, while she may still have issues, Marlo's exceeds hers. Exactly. They have some similarities, but let's be real. Kenya has done the work, and Kenya has felt some level of security. If not from her mom, it was from her dad and her grandma or her auntie. Marlo, on the other hand, she's a product of her environment. No security ever. Lies to do whatever she has to do, throws people under the buses to get wherever she needs to get, lays with men to get wherever she needs to get, and then doesn't understand why her nephews have the issues that they have. It's because you haven't even done the work on yourself. So, y'all, that's all I got for Real Housewives of Atlanta. I told y'all I got to get out of here to get some good old crawfish. I hope y'all enjoyed this review. Again, y'all, we're almost to 12,000 subscribers. If you have not hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit subscribe. Do me a favor, like the video, and I will see y'all in the next one, which might be tomorrow, because I think I want to talk to y'all about that Tammy Roman show, the cheating show. So if y'all F with me, show up tomorrow and we can have a conversation about that. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.